Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is SP7, two-way tables. We'll start by reviewing some vocabulary. Frequency, the number of times that a piece of data appears in a set. Frequency distribution, a list of values in a sample showing the number of times each value occurs. Relative frequency, the frequency of a particular category divided by the sum of all the frequencies, expressed as a percent or a decimal. We're going to take a look at question 2 tonight. You only have 2 questions, and question 2 was broken into 13 parts. So we're going to take some of those parts and go over those tonight. For question number 2, it states, Mr. Grandy wants to know what school subjects boys and girls like most. He surveyed 200 middle school students at his school. Using the data, he was able to make the following two-way frequency table. And so you can see we have math, science, social studies, ELA. He has the amount of votes that each of these subjects got for boys, for girls. He has the total of boys and girls at the bottom for math, for science, for social studies, for ELA. And then he also has the total going across for boys for the row. And you can see he surveyed 200 people. 100 of them were boys and 100 of them were girls. So it's exactly even in that sense, with a total of 200 altogether. One of the things you're going to need to be able to do as you navigate this table is you're going to need to be able to focus, when asked, on the columns for each of the subjects and on the rows for boys or girls. Okay, we're going to jump down to part D, which asks, fill in the two-way table below with the relative frequencies. I've chosen to focus on filling in the tables and not the questions where you're looking to make inferences based on the data. I felt those were the easier of the two types of questions you're going to see on this, and that it would be more beneficial to cover what's going to go in those tables. So that's what I'm going to focus on for this video. For D, you need to fill in the two-way table with the relative frequencies. So remember, we're going to use all this data, and a relative frequency is taking the amount of data in one piece and dividing it by the total. So the total is 200, so we're going to be dividing each of these pieces of data by 200. Now in the first one, we're taking 31, dividing it by 200. I left it showing as a decimal and then a percent, but all the rest of my answers are just going to be percents. And I left this as a decimal then a percent so I could just quickly review what to do if you're not sure on how to get it from decimal to percent. When you punch it in your calculator, this is what you're going to see, 0.155. To change it to a percent is quite simple though. You just simply need to take the decimal, move it 2 places to the right, so it goes between the 5 and the 5, and then you add a percent sign. So 0.155 becomes 15.5%. Okay, moving along. We have girls at 20. We're going to divide that by 200. It gets us 10%. We have a total of 51 for boys and girls that like math. We divide that by 200, so we get 25.5%. Moving to science, boys was 26. 26 divided by 200 is 13%. Girls were 15 for science. Divide that by 200, you get 7.5%. The total was 41. Divided by 200 is going to get you 20.5%. Social studies, 21 divided by 200 is going to give us 10.5%. For girls, it was 40 divided by 200, which gives us 20%. For the total, it was 61 divided by 200, which gets us 30.5%. Moving on to ELA, we have 22 out of 200, which is 11%. We have 25 divided by 200, which is 12.5%. And a total of 47 divided by 200 gets 23.5%. And our totals. We have 100 students in the boys out of 200, so it's 50%. And we have 100 students out of 200 for the girls, which is 50%. And that gets us 200 out of 200 for a total of 100%. Okay, now we're going to jump to H. Fill in the two-way table below with the relative frequencies for the rows. So rows are going from left to right. So for boys, since the total amount now for the row is 100, we're going to be dividing by 100. So we have 31 divided by 100 is 31%. For science, for the boys, we have 26 divided by 100, 26%. We have 21 divided by 100 for social studies, it's 21%. We have 22 divided by 100, which is 22%. And the total is 100 divided by 200 is 50%. Coming to the girls, we had 20 divided by 100 is 20%. We had 15 divided by 100 is 15%. We had 40 divided by 100 is 40%. We had 25 divided by 100 is 25%. We had 100 out of 200, which is 50%. And as we come down, we had 51 out of 200, that's 25.5%. We had 41 out of 200, which is 20.5%. We had 61 out of 200, which is 30.5%. We had 47 out of 200, which is 23.5%. And our total was 200 out of 200, which is going to be 100%. Now we'll move on to K. Fill in the two-way table below with the relative frequencies for the columns. So now we're looking at up and down, vertical. So for math, it still stayed 31, but the total for the column was 51. So now we're dividing by 51. So 31 divided by 51 is 60.8%. For girls, 20 divided by 51 was 39.2%. 51 divided by 51 is 100%. For science, we had 26 out of a total of 41 for this column, which is 63.4%. We had 15 out of 41 for the girls, which is 36.6%. And we had a total of 41 out of 41 for 100%. For social studies, we had 21 out of a total of 61 for this column, which equals 34.4%. We had 40 out of 61, which equals 65.5%. And we had 61 out of 61 for 100%. For ELA, the total for the column was 47, so we'll be dividing by 47. 22 by 47 is 46.8%. 25 divided by 47 is 53.2%. And 47 divided by 47 is 100%. If we go to the totals, we have 100 out of 200 is 50%, 100 out of 200 is 50%, and 200 out of 200 is 100%. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve the additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.